Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to review the LT Wright Genesis and take a look at a sheath from One Tree Leather. So first up, let's take a look at the sheath. So this sheath was from Aaron over at One Tree Leather. He's in Canada. Where exactly, I'm not sure, but he does absolutely excellent work. So this sheath is a little unique. It has two fire steel loops. One loop is actually on the dangler, so if you didn't want the dangler or you didn't need it particularly, then you're not necessarily sacrificing your fire steel. Then for this loop here is obviously for the fire steel on the body. Now this one is the one that I normally carry with my Genesis. However, this will not fit here. Let me just check something. Well, it'll fit, but if I slide it down from the bottom, it's a really nice tight fit. So I would just need a shorter steel here. It bottoms out on the bump, and then the other way, it won't fit. That problem would be remediated with a shorter fire steel, which I might do. Now he included on here though his concept for a fire steel dangler, which this is awesome up here. It doesn't, when it actually hangs on the belt here, you have clearance. Your belt clears behind it. This sits back, stays away from the knife. The knife kind of hangs off your body a little bit. So at first I was concerned that this might hit the knife in some way or interfere, but it doesn't. It works absolutely beautifully, and then obviously if you wanted to get rid of it, it snaps off, and then that's gone, and then you just have a sheath. So super nice sheath, really great fit and finish, really good stitching, really just like the look and the texturing that he does on these sheaths. As for fit of the knife, the LT Wright Genesis slides right in here. I asked him to make it for this knife. Fits in perfectly. It's really snug right now. This sheath is no joke a day old. It's one day I've had this sheath. But Aaron does great stuff. I have no doubt that this is going to hold up. I have another sheath by him, and it's been absolutely great. Now, onto the knife. So this is the LT Wright Genesis. Let's move in a little closer. Alright, so what we're looking at here is fairly standard, simple bushcraft knife. Rounded, like broomstick style handle, thumb scallops. I think it's about a 4 to 4.5 inch blade. Actually, I think this is 4 1/4. 1/8 inch thick. This variation is the CPM 3V variation. You know that by the X that's here. As you can see, it's had some use. This has double red micarta scales with white liners. This was a custom order from LT Wright. If you guys want a custom order, you have to be part of the Pout House. So go over, join if you want to make custom orders, which basically means you can pick pretty much most knives that they carry if they have that hanging and in stock, and then you just pick whatever handles you want on it, and you can add certain things. I have a GNS with thumb scallops, and it doesn't come standard with thumb scallops, so they'll do that for you. Really great knife. You know, fits really well in the hand. Funny story was I had one of these in A2, didn't quite love it, sold it, and the day it sold, I used it in such a way that I just fell in love with it, and I had to have another one, so I got one in 3V with colors that I prefer. So that's the knife in a nutshell. All the ergonomics are good, blade style's good. Obviously it's a Scandi ground knife with a hard buffed edge, or hard buffed edge, which basically gives it a slight micro bevel. Super sharp. Have not sharpened this knife since I've gotten it, and I've used it a lot. It's appeared in 2 videos. Oh, and of course the awesome thing about LT Wright is their 90-degree spines on their knives. This company makes spines so sharp that you can just shave tinder all day with it. Now, other companies do have sharp 90-degree spines, but these are the sharpest I've ever experienced. And it's actually, you know, you can get much better. So that's a lot of the wear and tear that's been on this knife from fire steels and doing a lot of fires. So let's go ahead and take this over to the stump and see what it can do. Alright, I apologize for the background noise. Somebody has decided to do a home improvement project while I'm shooting out here. What I'm going to start with is a little bit of feather sticking. This piece of pine, I have to make it shorter, clearly, so make sure that that's in frame. Rotate you guys just a little bit, view. So I'm going to kind of cross baton through this. Go. This is really dry, dead pine, so of course it's going to feather really, really well. So we'll baton this down. It's pretty light batoning. This also is a pine branch, so it's kind of twisted. Never splits straight, but whatever. Start there. Feathering, feathers like a dream. Really, never had any issues. One thing I want to mention is LT Wright's warranty policy, which is basically if the knife breaks or if you break it, damage it, it needs to be sharpened, you're not comfortable sharpening it, you get edge problems, something like that, you contact them, you can send it in to the spa, to the knife spa, they'll fix it for you, and they'll send it back. I've done this process twice with them, not with this knife. With two other knives, but I've gotten both my knives back good as new or even better than new in less than a week, or just about a week. So as you see, feathers really, really well. Takes huge chunks out. And then you can, because of the little sweep up here on this knife, and you can back out on the handle and you can just use that to break through, break your feathers off, and then you have a nice little pile of feathers, and you grab your ferro rod, you clamp, and you get fire. Super easy, super simple. Most bushcraft knives do an insane job at feathering. So, no issues there, never any issues there. Because this is a CPM 3V, the edge retention is ridiculous. You really shouldn't have to touch it up for a very long time. We're going to do a little bit more batoning here. This is a green stick for notching. Go. And we're going to do the other end. This stick here. That one was a little bit more on an angle, but you got to see. So, pretty much you get push in, actually. Messing this process up because it's cold out. Really, never any issues. The one thing about LTs are the spines are so sharp on these knives. They kind of dig into your thumbs a bit. You could always fix that, or you could just live with it. So that's fine. We'll do a little square notch with a baton. caps. Should be able to, nope, not pop that notch out. Alright, might have to go back, set it in a little deeper. Okay. Nope. So for some reason it doesn't want to pop the notch. I'm going to shove the tip in here. And what's good about this broomstick style handle is I can put my hand on the bottom of this and kind of drill in. And it's really, really comfortable. So I kind of started popping that notch. So I think it's mostly this wood. I'm not going to blame the knife for this. There we go. So I've notched before with this. That sweep up here at the top is really, really nice. That's where you can kind of get into your notches, help open them up or clean them out. You can rock back and forth like that. So definitely have no problem. Another thing you can do with this, just because it's a little heavier, is you can do crafting chops. With relative ease, even on some deader, drier stuff. With pretty much no problem. That'll definitely help you if you wanted to, say, this is a really messed up tent stake. Let's say, you know, I didn't want to sit here and carve out a tent stake. I can do a couple quick wrist flicks, and then I can bring this up and clean it up. Really quick. And I can have, you know, super rough ghetto tent stake. I would probably make one much better than that, but, you know, it'll probably, you know, it'll do the job. I left a chunk of wood in there. But, yeah, you know, it'll do the job if you need something quick and dirty. Let's put this knife under a little bit more stress here. We'll see what kind of trouble I can get into this, or into with this. Side splitting. That. I'm not going to go all the way through this, I just want to show you that you can do it. It's lifting that chunk out, but that's because I'm at that 45-degree angle. And this is maple that I'm going through. So. Oh, and of course right on top of a knot. Edge still looks great. I'll go one more time on this side. And I can feel that I'm stopped by that knot. I can kind of try to get in here and pry this out. But, you know, that wouldn't be too bad of a notch. We're also going to baton this down just as a heavier piece of wood to work on. I know you guys can't see the top of it right now. You'll see it as I work through it. So right around that knot. Pick this back up. Do it one more time. Hit that notch. There we go. With no difficulty, really at all. I'm gonna come back here. We can do our nice long feathers. Yeah, there's not going to be any edge damage to this or edge degradation of any sort. That's a really extra thick curl there. So yeah, great knife. Really no issues or complaints with it at all. It's one of LT's staples. That's why it's called the Genesis. It's such a great entry-level bushcraft knife. Maybe not entry-level at the price, but there's used ones all the time for sale. The other thing we can do is we can turn this around and we can pick up a real baton. Something that I like to do sometimes, especially with longer pieces of wood, is you can get in here and you can make curls in a hurry with it. And this is just hog off material too. They grind these scandies very, very well. Alright guys, so there we have it. Really, kind of short video. The knife speaks for itself. It's awesome. Sheath is great. I'm super excited to be using this, testing this, and seeing how it fares. Quick note about Aaron's leather is I've noticed his leather is much stiffer than other leather makers and other leather that I've handled. And it's definitely thicker and heavier than a stock JRE sheath that you would normally get with the knife. But I will definitely put where to find Aaron in the description below, where to find this knife. There's a few different places. And I hope you guys like the video. I hope you guys love this knife. If you end up getting it, if you have one and you like it, let me know your thoughts. I think it's one of such a basic bushcraft knife, but it's just so good for what it's supposed to do. The knife really speaks for itself. And later on we'll have reviews of the Genesis, not the Genesis, I'm sorry, the GNS, and then we'll also have a comparison between the Genesis and the GNS, because that was a very difficult choice for me to make. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and if you like this video, then please subscribe, and I'll be back with more videos.